Coming up on NewsVision, a polarized political election season brings history to Howard and the re-election of a former president.
Black excellence is celebrated on the front lawn of the White House.
A DC artist is honoring heroes one paint stroke at a time.
And we start the holiday season on a jazzy note, Howard style. NewsVision starts now.
From the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C., this is NewsVision, a newscast written, reported, and produced by capstone journalists in the Department of Media, Journalism, and Film.
Good afternoon, and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Skylar Winston.
And I'm Juan Ben Jr. NewsVision is the capstone course for broadcast journalism at Howard University, and it's been an exciting semester for the Skillful Seven.
Yes, it has. And if you've been following our coverage, you've seen us report from the White House, on the streets of Washington, D.C., and Howard University's campus, where the race for the presidency came literally close to home.
That's right, Skylar. And all of that led us to this moment right now, our final newscast of the year. And we begin with November's historic election. Former President Donald Trump is now the 47th president-elect after a contentious race with Vice President Kamala Harris. And for many voters across the country, Trump's new administration brings new concerns, from recent cabinet picks to his promised policies. But the main one being Project 2025, a 920-page document drafted by the Conservative Heritage Foundation that, among other things, poses an overhaul of the U.S. government. NewsVision reporter Trinity Webster Bass reported on this project during this fall's Congressional Black Caucus Legislative Conference.
This year, the Congressional Black Caucus hosted its 53rd annual legislative conference under the theme, From Vision to Victory, Amplifying Black Voices. With the presidential election less than 2 months away, Black Greek-letter organizations Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated and Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, both of which were founded at Howard University, held a panel called Project 2025, The Impact on Black America. These organizations collaborated with political figures to address the potential effect of Project 2025 on the Black community.
I think that when we win this election in November, a lot of it will be because the Republicans were brazen enough to decide that they would put out their playbook in the form of an almost 1,000-page document. And they are allowing people to read and find out what their true motivations are.
COVID-19 has affected everybody on this planet, either directly or indirectly. So if Project 2025 were to have its way, we would end up with millions of people who would not be able to get health care because of the pre-existing condition of what COVID-19 happened within their body.
It's important to not only vote in this presidential election, but all the way down the ballot, all the way down to the school board itself, because every decision on that ballot affects every aspect of our life.
I'm Trinity Webster Bass, here in Washington, D.C., reporting for Howard University News Service.
One of the key proposals within Project 2025 is the elimination of the U.S. Department of Education. And according to a YouGov poll, 63% of Americans strongly oppose the dissolution of this essential department.
As President Biden exits the White House, both chambers of Congress will go to the Republicans, who are already discussing dismantling more of Biden's policies. But Biden can still boast on getting many things accomplished during his administration. There are 8 million people enrolled in Biden's student debt relief, the SAVE plan, even though the plan is on hold due to litigations in the courts. But the unemployment rate reportedly hitting an all-time low since the pandemic, the president is also credited with strengthening the economy by bringing more jobs back to the U.S. Biden has also taken a big pharma, capping insulin payments at $35 a month for Medicare users. Earlier this fall at the White House, the Biden administration held its first ever celebration of Black Excellence Brunch. The event brought together political leaders, community members, and celebrities to honor the remarkable achievements of the Black community. I was at the White House for the celebration.
There was a sea of white on the White House lawn for the celebration of Black Excellence Brunch, which the Biden administration held for the first time. Exonerated 5-member Raymond Santana shared what this event meant to him.
To come from where we come from as being part of the Exonerated 5, and to see that the peers, my community, my culture, my people, they love us and they accept us and they bring us back into the fold. So it means a lot to me.
The brunch gathered celebrities, community members, and political leaders to honor the achievements and contributions of the Black community. The all-white affair was filled to capacity and radiated a joyous atmosphere.
It's very important for Black people to come together to celebrate who we are, especially at the White House, because for years, Black people have not been able to do this.
After being introduced by actress Marseille Martin, President Biden gave remarks at the event emphasizing the importance of elevating Black excellence.
Today we honor this simple truth. Black history is American history. Black excellence is American excellence. Folks, we don't erase history.
You have people here from all industries, from politics to entertainment to law to history. I mean, this is a broad array of brilliant and beautiful Black people in one space, celebrating all that makes us great.
President Biden said he got involved with public life because of civil rights, adding, quote, "The Black community has always had my back, and I've always had yours," end quote.
And next up, we take a trip down memory lane to the 2024 presidential election and meet a Howard Law School alum who performs in front of a new kind of audience. Spoiler alert, it is not a jury. Stay with us.
Welcome to the School of Communications at Howard University, where the next generation of media leaders are born. As the underclassmen, students will dive into the world of storytelling. They will learn the power of visuals, setting up the perfect shot to capture every detail by checking out equipment, reporting, editing, and more.
Vice President Kamala Harris did not win the presidential race.
This will all prepare you for HU NewsVision.
At SOC, we believe in the power of our words. Our students will learn to write with purpose and impact.
Now, to a closer look at election 2024 and how Vice President Kamala Harris made history as the first woman of color to lead the ticket of a major party.
She became the Democrats' nominee after President Biden bowed out of the race in late July. Harris accepted the presidential nomination on the last night of the 2024 Democratic National Convention. The night was filled with powerful speeches and celebrations highlighting Harris's path to the DNC stage. But after the VP formally accepted her party's nomination, attendees expressed excitement to further mobilize voters ahead of November 5th.
I'm just so excited about her candidacy, so excited about the possibility. I really love the stories about her mom, right? And the lessons that she learned and the values that she has, that she's bringing to our nation, that she's bringing to the forefront.
I have goosebumps. It was exciting. I'm ready to see her actually rise to becoming the next president.
An estimated 50,000 people attended the DNC, including delegates, volunteers, and supporters.
The shakeup in the presidential race intensified in August, when then-candidate Donald Trump engaged in a fiery exchange at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention held in Chicago. The following month, NABJ hosted a panel with Vice President Harris in Philadelphia. 3 NABJ members interviewed Harris about a number of issues. When asked about the black male vote during the panel, Harris explained that she was, quote, working to earn the vote, end quote.
Including Black small businesses, some of the high.
Both parties spent the next few months campaigning for support, and on Election Day, Howard University was in the worldwide spotlight as a bison was on the ballot and history took place on the yard. That's where the Harris Walls campaign held its election night watch party. NewsVision reporter Hunter Nicole Stevens is live on campus with more. Hey, Hunter.
Thousands of people gathered here on Howard University's campus on the yard on election night. Behind me, we have Douglas Hall, named after American abolitionist Frederick Douglass. Here, Vice President Kamala Harris greeted her supporters during her concession speech. Harris supporters experienced a range of emotions from excitement to sadness as election results rolled in. Ultimately, Harris lost the election. However, no one can take away this point of history from Howard University. Earlier, I spoke to students to see exactly how they felt post-elections.
So I'm not really surprised by the lack of care from the white majority of this country on trying to help build past the past and like create a better future for everybody. So I'm not really surprised.
I think it sucks, but I wasn't really surprised. I feel like I definitely kind of expected it from America, so I'm pretty surprised.
This country, I'm gonna pick y'all because, yeah, we're doomed.
we're doomed. I'm honestly saying that.
So post-election, I feel like I'm like a lot of people and still a little in shock. You know, so many people were thinking Kamala Harris was going to kill it once Joe Biden dropped out because he had young people energized and he was getting other women energized, and people were like, this is going to be the groundbreaking first. But sadly, that just wasn't enough to break the glass ceiling at the top.
Regardless of the outcome, Howard students are honored to be a part of this historic moment in time. My name is Hunter Nicole Stevens, reporting live from Washington, D.C., Howard University, NewsVision.
Thank you, Hunter. NewsVision covered the presidential election here in the D.C. area from start to finish, with capstone reporters at the polls when they opened. People in line to vote included those exercising their right for the very first time. An estimated 8 million of them were members of Generation Z.
Because it was once a time where we couldn't do it, so you know what I'm saying? Go out and vote.
I think that it's our civic duty, so I couldn't imagine not voting.
Polling suggests issues such as abortion and the economy were most important to young first-time voters. On campus of Howard University, we got a first-hand look at some of the people who brought coverage of November 5th's historic event, the media. Hundreds of journalists and reporters from around the world came to campus to report on Vice President Harris's election night watch party. NewsVision reporters stood side by side on those media platforms, documenting the first rough draft of history.
Skylar, what was it like for you being there that night when we were there covering the election?
It was a night that I will never forget. Everything was so captivating. Seeing everyone there, seeing my fellow Howard Bison there, it was truly memorable.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, Vice President Harris did not address the crowd during her watch night celebration. Instead, the next day she gave her concession speech to a crowd of visibly disappointed yet sympathetic supporters.
Many attendees were tearful as she spoke. Although supporters were saddened by the election's outcomes, students took Harris's speech to heart.
Coming here today, even within all that disappointment and frustration, it was exciting to be with a group of people that does believe in a better future and is willing to continue the fight.
Harris spoke with President-elect Trump before her speech, assuring she and President Biden would facilitate a smooth transition of power. All right, after this short break, we have a few stories in Washington, D.C. that are not about politics. Stay with us to hear about a D.C. native who has dedicated his life to filling D.C. with color.
And a local event that made D.C. a little sweeter.
That was cute.
Thank you. I often say that being a student journalist during an election year is not for the weak. But being a student journalist at Howard University during the 2024 presidential election was still not for the weak, but was also an honor and a privilege. Hi, my name is Juan Ben Jr. I'm a senior journalism major, English minor, and HU NewsVision capstone scholar from Knoxville, Tennessee, and I currently serve as the managing editor of Howard student newspaper, The Hilltop. On election day, my responsibilities were twofold. Not only was I to produce and anchor NewsVision's election night newscast, but I was also charged with managing the Hilltop's election day coverage. I was asked by journalists from around the world about how student journalists and even just students at Howard were experiencing election day. I helped my classmates turn around their packages while also completing my own and preparing myself for my first time in the anchor chair. Having the chance to cover that day was an invaluable experience as a student journalist. I love any chance that I get to apply what I've learned in the classroom to real life experiences as an early career journalist. In addition, it was inspiring to witness our campus become the hotspot for national and international media. Blackburn and the Yard were overflowing with journalists, many of whom I look up to, and I was able to connect and network with some of them. The day taught me to steady the course. There will be many more hectic and unpredictable days in my future career in news, and this was just the first of hopefully many elections I get to cover in my career.
Now to some stories about some of the unique people, places, and things taking place in the district. By day, she's a practicing attorney putting her legal court skills to work in the courtroom, but by night, she's a rising comedic talent, making people laugh with her unique sense of humor. Juggling comedy and law might seem strange, but for 29-year-old Jasmine Burton, it's all in a day's work.
Both help people. I think in my day job, I'm helping people in a different way, whether that be a case. I'm a consultant and lobbyist by day, so lobbying for organizations whose missions I deeply care about. Consultant, helping organizations figure out their direction in the next 3 to 5 years. Really all that type of like gritty work that helps organizations that we're passionate about, that help people we care about. And then the comedy aspect is helping people after a long day of work, you know, getting the laugh. We need joy to get through the day.
Julie, who'd you come here with? Burton has been highlighted by the Washington Post as one of the 10 funniest comedians in D.C., known for her witty, edgy, and high-energy humor.
10 funniest comedians, I think I need to go to one of her shows. Well, the DC native and muralist Nabi Bilal is one of many artists who strive to make the district beautiful. But Bilal's focus on DC history is what distinguishes him from the rest. Most recently, his mural unveiling a tribute to former district mayor Marion Barry and his legacy. HU NewsVision reporter Jordan Pascal was there to see it all in full color.
DC's Mayor for Life, Marion Barry Jr., was dedicated with a mural unveiling this past Saturday, honoring his legacy on the 10th anniversary of his passing. Commissioned by Mayor Bowser and the Barry Foundation, the DC Department of Arts and Humanities selected a group of talented artists to help create this memorial. The project was led by art collective Creative Junk Food, more specifically co-founder Nabi Bilal, who describes his excitement for being selected for this special installation.
Yeah, just happy. I mean, as an artist, when you get, I think all artists crave acceptance because, you know, not all audiences accept all artists. So to be validated as like, hey, you guys are the chosen team to do this was a joyous feeling.
Under his company, Creative Junk Food, Nabi has worked on countless projects across the district, majority of the subject matter depicting the rich history of DC and some of its well-known figures. Though making sure to include every detail for this project was proven difficult.
If we were to lay out every major historical detail that Marion Barry's legacy represents, we'd be here for 10 years and we need 10 blocks to put that mural up. It is nearly impossible to fit the history of that man in one single image, let alone 3 panels.
Because there have been 3 paintings that hung where we currently have our murals hanging, and so they were thinking, okay, triptych mural will do that. Plus, thinking about the entire lobby space and how that might also speak to the artwork was seemingly like the best way to commemorate Mayor Barry in that lobby space.
After 2 years of delays, changes, and setbacks, the team finally got to reap the benefits of their hard work with the mural that is both an homage and a piece of beautiful art. And though it took longer than expected, Nabi thinks that the mural was the best decision they could have made for the project.
In this city and in cities across America, the medium of art is being used to transform spaces, and art is transformative in its nature. So when we start thinking about mural depictions and things like that, I think inevitably we know that there's a story to a face, and the hope is that you will do the research to find out more.
Did you know that this iconic mural behind me depicts William and Winifred Lee, owners of the first and oldest Black-owned flower shop in the district? Murals like this one give a story to a face and give people the opportunity to learn more about their history. Reporting from Washington, D.C., I'm Jordan Pascal with NewsVision.
Nabi's work with Creative Junk Food is painted all throughout the district. So if you're looking to learn more about DC history, maybe walk down to U Street or take the Metro to Southeast, where he continues to make DC more vibrant. I know I definitely appreciate that public art. But speaking of DC, did you know, Skylar, that DC has its very own desserts festival?
Yes, that's right. A whole festival dedicated entirely to baked sweets and tasty treats. But the best part of the stories are behind the aprons. HU NewsVision K. Brown gives us the scoop.
DC's Dessert Festival, hosted by a company called Pop-Up Festivals LLC, is a one-of-a-kind event where vendors get to showcase their unique creativity through baking. From freeze-dried candy to popcorn, vendors from all over use this event to promote their own small businesses. Meet Zeke, owner of a baking company called Supreme Delights, who wants to make his mark in the baking industry.
People need awesome dessert flavors that they never had before.
Zeke is just one out of the roughly 75,500 small businesses located here in DC. According to the Board of Trade, that makes up a staggering 98% of all businesses in DC. His inspiration came from watching others.
Back in the day, getting in trouble and watching cooking shows while I was at home suspended. So that kind of like tweaked my mind, watching Yank and Cook, Emerald, different couple other people. So that just sitting at home watching that was like, oh, I like that, and I like food, so it's just all tied in together.
The Desserts Festival is just one way that DC promotes its small Black businesses. Events like this happen all the time, but they often go unnoticed. For more information, check your local post office, businesses, restaurants, even telephone poles. This is one sweet treat that can't be beat. Reporting from Washington, DC, I'm Kay Brown with HU NewsVision.
Kay, I hope you brought us a cookie.
No, I want one.
Sharing that entrepreneurial spirit along with some good eats is a great way to drum up business. Luckily, pop-up festivals host these events all the time and all over the county. Up next, a local organization gives food to those in need.
And later, we'll hear what Howard students are grateful for this holiday season right after this quick break.
Do you know you have 30 minutes?
30 minutes?
Yeah, for NewsVision. Let's go.
Do you never know what's happening on Howard's campus? And are you always missing the latest political news? Well, welcome to NewsVision, a 30-minute newscast bringing you everything you need to know from Howard University to the White House and beyond. With stories brought to you for students and by students, you can stay up to date with NewsVision. From breaking news to politics, and arts and culture, we report on the stories that matter. Stay tuned for more because here at NewsVision, we provide you with a new view of the news.
I'm Danilo Wrightso.
I'm Kay Brown. My name is Hunter Nicole Stevens.
I'm Jordan Pascal.
I'm Skylar Winston.
And I'm Juan Ben Jr.
I'm Trinity Webster Bass, reporting here in Washington, D.C. for Howard University NewsVision.
Over the years, Howard students have gotten to know the shops of Lower Georgia Avenue, the Grill, McDonald's, and my personal favorite, Sankofa.
Yes, Skylar, I'm right there with you with Sankofa. They have the best dirty chai in the city.
Yes.
But there's also the one-man bookstore run by Montu, a Baltimore resident who's been selling books roadside since 1985. I got the chance to talk with him and learn why he does it.
Ask anyone who's been doing something for nearly 40 years why they do what they do. Chances are they'll say it's because they love it. That's not much different from Montu, who goes by the one-name moniker and has been selling books on the 2400 block of Georgia Avenue for almost 4 decades.
It's more of a hobby, and I call it my community service, because no one else is going to be responsible for our information but us. We got to know our history, so it won't be a mystery.
The 68-year-old independent bookseller from New Jersey got his start after his older brother introduced him to books from what he described as the awareness movement of the 1960s and 70s.
When he first arrived in Washington, D.C., drivers could park along both sides of Georgia Avenue. He set up shop just outside of Jamaican restaurant and a grill and recalls there being a healthy appetite for books by and about Black people.
Some of his most popular titles at the time included The ISIS Papers by Francis Cress Welsing and The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Both still hold up today alongside some of his other bestsellers, 48 Laws of Power and Anything by Bell Hooks or Toni Morrison. But while some things have stayed the same, Montu says much has changed since he first started selling books.
As time goes by, it seems like the attitudes have changed a lot.
He says interest fades with the seasons. He gets a lot of business in February during Black History Month. Still, Montu spends his weekends selling books at a Baltimore flea market and continues to make the nearly hour-long drive to Howard's campus 3 to 4 days a week. He stores his books, fold-up table, and tablecloth in the trunk of his car, only packing his lunch and sometimes extra sandwiches for people in need who walk by throughout the day. Montu's a retired bus driver and says he's always liked working with others and having conversations.
It really surprises me sometimes, especially when a younger person asks me something on philosophy or something that happened back in the 60s. I'm impressed with that, very impressed.
For him, Selling books isn't about the money. He says the business pretty much pays for itself. It's about spreading knowledge and keeping people informed. And that includes the really young, a demographic he hopes to expand to soon with new books for kids and young adults.
Now, if you want to visit Montu's shop, support my man, you can stop by the corner of Berry Place and Georgia Avenue on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays when the weather is nice.
Yes, that was a great story, Juan. But 'tis the season. With the holidays rapidly approaching, many organizations like Bread for the City are going above and beyond to give back to those less fortunate in the DC community. NewsVision reporter Danilo Reitzel has the story.
Though the weather outside is unpredictable, the shelves of Bread for the City's Southeast facility are full and ready to serve the community. In an attempt to be more inclusive to all cultures living in D.C., Tracy Collins, Director of Food and Clothing Programs, said that last year her staff noted that many of their clients weren't eating traditional Thanksgiving food anymore.
So we pivoted, and we were able to pivot pretty quickly and get these things so that we could pass them out, and they were really popular. We have run out of our red bags that were tailored to an East Asian cuisine. They were so popular that we've run out, and we've almost run out of our green bags that have more of the masa and the hominy. So it's really cool to see folks really excited to have those opportunities for their Thanksgiving dinner.
Food isn't the only thing Bread for the City does. Being a beacon of service within the D.C. area for over 50 years and having two facilities, one in Northwest and the other in Southeast, people in need can get a plethora of services, ranging from food and grocery, clothing, healthcare, social services, citizen advocacy, and legal advice. Although Bread for the City's first priority is serving the people, they wouldn't be able to reach the far corners of the district without the steady help of volunteers. Reoccurring volunteer Sam Douglas shared why he feels so inclined to give back.
You do a lot to the city. Now it's time to do something for the city.
Douglas shared how he's looking forward to frying his Bread for the City turkey this Thanksgiving. And the Southeast staff was celebrating after breaking a new record of families fed.
We had a goal of 12,000 households this year, and we have already surpassed that goal. Yesterday we served 12,290 households, and as you see behind me, folks are already receiving packages, so I bet we're on track to hit 14,000 by the end of the day today, so it's exciting.
Instead of obsessing over your Christmas list and checking it twice, maybe you'll come down to Bread for the City and give the gift that really matters this holiday season: service. I'm Danilo Reitzel, reporting in Washington, D.C. for HU NewsVision.
I can't wait to fry my turkey. Dad, please fry my turkey, baby.
Well, I think I know whose Thanksgiving dinner I'm crashing. It's Christmas time at Howard University. Howard's campus got a lot more joyful. Following the 64th annual tree lighting ceremony, there was a slight change in location due to the weather outside being frightful. But that didn't dampen the holiday spirit or the excitement from the students.
Today was amazing. I am so excited to be here. Despite the weather, I think that it was so nice to be excited with a bunch of people in a room where we get to see the Christmas tree light up.
Community choir took the crowd to church as they watched the tree light the night. Students and faculty surrounded the Blackbird reading room to watch the tree be lit. This heartwarming Howard tradition will continue for many years to come.
Speaking of traditions, it is traditional this time of year to reflect on what you have to be grateful for. Despite this being a rocky year for many, it is still the perfect time to be thankful.
For my family.
On the yard, Howard students are preparing for the break and reflecting on what they are being thankful for, aside from being the end of the semester, of course.
I am thankful for my family and then being able to be in a position to get out.
Pretty decent GPA, gotta keep it that way, heading out.
My family, my friends.
The friends I've made so far here at Howard.
Going back to be with my family.
Just seeing another day. It's always good to see another day, blessed for that. That's really it.
Skylar, what are you thankful for?
Well, I'm thankful for my family and of course being here with you all.
Yeah.
What about you?
I have to agree. I think those are both two incredible things to be grateful for. I think I'm also, like one of the people said, grateful for Howard University. I'm graduating soon, so this just feels, special. Yep. Well, one more thing that I'm grateful for is Christmas, and nothing puts me more in the holiday spirit than a nice cup of hot cocoa and some smooth jazz.
Well, Juan, you are in for a special treat because today we have two Howard University students who are both making notes in the College of Fine Arts. NewsVision reporter Trinity Webster Bass is here with the two vocalists. Trinity?
Well, thank you, Juan and Skylar. Today we are joined with two amazing jazz vocalists at Howard University. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm Candace Jackson, music business major, jazz voice minor from Waldorf, Maryland.
Hi, I'm Corinna Spencer, music business, jazz voice minor from Delaware.
Awesome. And you all are both jazz vocalists. So why don't you tell us a little bit about why jazz? Why not classical voice or R&B?
For me personally, jazz really speaks to my soul, and I just love to sing it.
For me, I love all types of music, and I feel like the foundation of all types of music is jazz. So that's what inspired me and pulled me towards it.
That's really amazing. Very beautiful. So what are you guys actually singing today?
We're going to be singing All the Things You Are,
composed by Jerome Kern, and today it's considered a jazz standard.
And it's really good. It's going to put you in the spirit, in the mood for the holidays. So think about someone you really love and you really care about.
Awesome. Well, I cannot wait to hear your beautiful voices. And without further ado, I'll let you all take it away.
You are the promised kiss of springtime that makes the lonely winter seem long. You are the breathless hush of evening that trembles on the brink of a lovely song. You are the angel glow that lights a star. The dearest things I know are what you are. And someday my happy arms will hold you, and someday I'll know that moment divine when all the things you are mine.
Wow, what a beautiful song. Those voices, that piano really put me in the holiday spirit. They were right. They knew what they were talking about.
Yes, it really was amazing. But thank you, Corinda and Candace, for sharing your beautiful voices with us here today. But we also thank all of you for tuning in to our final newscast. Our class, known as the Skillful Seven, made it to the finish line, and we did it with help from some very special people.
Yes, we want to thank our professor Jennifer Thomas for pushing and propelling us in the spirit of excellence without excuse, which we will apply to our careers and the rest of our lives.
Yes, and we must also thank all of our professors in the Department of Media, Journalism, and Film and the Cathy Hughes School of Communications.
And a very special shout out to Lou Crozier and everyone here at PBS station WHUT.
And of course, this special production was made possible because of our Skillful Seven cohort, who served in all positions in front of and behind the camera. We did it, y'all. I'm Skylar Winston.
And I'm Juan Ben Jr. And from all of us here at NewsVision, thank you for tuning in, and a very blessed holiday season to you and yours. Happy holidays!
That makes the lonely winter seem long. You are the breathless hush of evening that trembles on the brink of a lovely song. You are the angel glow that lights a star. The dearest things I know are what you are.